Discuss whether role models can actually make a difference. Our record producer DJ Dodge, and from our central London studio, youth charity worker Chuka Umunna. Very good afternoon to you both. Chuka Umunna, if I can start with you first. We heard one gentleman there saying he looks up to his mum. Is that regularly what you hear about role models when you're out working with these youths on the streets?
I think it's more complex than that. I mean, I think Hazel Blears was correct today to raise this as an issue. We do need more role models. We need young black males to see other people doing other things other than rapping and the rest of it. But I think the young people making the comments there were right in the sense that not everybody's the same. The matter's much more complex. One thing I do want to say, this isn't just a black thing. All right, predominantly a lot of the teenage shootings we've seen in the last few months have been of black teenagers. But remember, the first teenager which really hit the news in a big way was Billy Cox, and he had no black parentage whatsoever. There's also Martin Dinnigan, Ben Hitchcock, both white youths as well. This is quite an inner city thing, so I think it's wrong to just depict it as a black thing. Family, yes, family is important, but I think, as I said, to sort this issue, to tackle it, you're going to have to look at a range of things. I think one of the problems is that increasingly we have a society divided into two, where we have different groups of people leading parallel lives. And we have a whole group of young people who can't buy into this rampantly consumerist society that we have at the moment. And at the same time, and it's quite ironic, if you go on to a local council estate, you will see a plethora of satellite dishes. And they are having this consumerist society beamed straight into their living rooms, something which they can't buy into, while their families struggle to make ends meet. You will have...
All right, let's just bring in DJ
Sure.
Dodge there. Do you agree? Are we oversimplifying the issue by suggesting a mentoring scheme will help in any way, or is it just not going to make any difference when, as you have to compete with the culture society, the society that we all see aspiring to, you know, all these goods that you want out there that you see on your TV screens?
Well, I believe now more than ever, obviously, you know, the riches and the rich world and the glamorized world is pushed down our throats even more than ever. I mean, every channel from your Big Brother shows to whatever is painting a life of, you know, being rich and having everything. And obviously, these children have to have something to aspire to. Now, the problem is there's no balance in life. You know, they need a balance. They need a strong family structure so that these things aren't, you know, they're not misconceived in their head from children. They understand family values, which, you know, obviously we all get from our parents first, our grandparents, our family, you know, the community we live in. And that's part of the problem, like the gentleman said. You know, you go into the estates, the hood as it were, and these kids, all they've got is satellite TV, their PlayStation, which is as violent as, you know, incredibly violent, you know, the movies that are beamed straight to their doors. But the other side, the other strong structure, the family values, is missing almost completely sometimes. Parents are...
Dodge is right there. Dodge
exactly.
is definitely right.
You know,
there.
if a parent is doing 20 hours a day just to make ends meet, to keep the roof over their head, she hasn't got time for great parenting skills. Therefore, right. You know, as the gentleman said, we've got to go to the root of the problem and get the family values back. I mean, in a lot of poorer countries around the world, family values are just in your neighborhood. And these countries are very poor, much poorer than Great Britain. And, you know, the kids come up and they go to school and they learn well and they have great values and they're yes, sir, no, sir, you know, and they know right and wrong from 10 years old, 9, 8 years old.
Chuka Umunna, how do we get the family values back then?
I think time-poor parents is a big issue. Dodger is absolutely right. The Institute for Public Policy Research, in the report that they brought out in November last year, one thing that they pinpointed is that our youth are spending too much time with their peers. They are not spending enough time with adults who can teach them values, from whom they can, if you like, absorb these behaviours and the rest of it. And, you know, one thing that our young people have told us at the 409 Project is that mum and dad are there, but they come back from work completely knackered. They haven't got time, they don't have enough time to spend with us, and when they are with us, they're exhausted. So I think that's important. How do we, I mean, it's very easy to pinpoint all the problems, but working out the solutions is very difficult. I mean, I think the report that's come out today has come up with some useful suggestions. Third sector organisations like ourselves, which aren't statutory bodies, but can reach those parts of society which bodies like the police and your local authority can't. we lead a hand-to-mouth existence. One of the things the report said today is that many of the black third sector community and voluntary organisations are very small. They don't have huge resource. It's very difficult to capacity build. And you end up with a difficult circle. In many ways, the bigger you are, the more money you have as a charity or a community and voluntary group, the easier it is to obtain more funds because you've got your in-house accountant, you've got your fundraiser. But if you're small, you don't have that. So it's very hard to leverage in funds.
Good point. But if I can just ask DJ Dodge, as a DJ, there's a lot of criticism of the so-called gangster rap music that encourage violent behaviour. Do you think that's the case?
I've answered this question at least 10 times this year, and basically, you need a balance. Videos, music, violent music, Hollywood, everything else, you know, there's so much negativity in TV. Even watching TV, you know, the regular channels at 8 p.m, you're going to see so much stuff that is quite negative. But it's important that youngsters, young people, when their minds are vulnerable, have a balance. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
DJ Dodge, thank you very much. I'm afraid we have to leave it there. And Chuka Umunna, thank you very much for joining us from our Central London studio.
You're welcome.
We've been telling you about the situation in the arts.